40, and even though everyone's talking the eclipse, there is actual news going on out there, and that is more lawsuits over the Scottrade Center and who's going to pay for the upgrades that have already begun. Brenda Talent, CEO of the Show Me in Suit, joins us. Good morning, Brenda.
Good morning, McGraw.
All right, so what's the latest with this Scottrade Center debacle?
Well, you covered a lot of it with Tony Messenger last week, but I think the sort of the takeaway here is when you step back and look at what is going on with our city, you've got to ask yourself, how did we get in this situation where we now have, as you mentioned, 3 lawsuits? We have individuals suing on the basis that the city should not be providing funding for improvements to Scottrade on the basis that they're using public money for a private interest.
Right.
You have the comptroller being sued by the Blues ownership, saying that she needs to sign the documents to issue the bonds, and of course she's also suing too. So it's like everyone's suing everybody, and one of the big questions is, why couldn't they have gotten their act together to begin with? And I think part of the answer here is because we have a situation where the city keeps giving money effectively to private interests in order to try to stimulate economic growth, but they're not doing the fundamentals, the basics that the city should do in order to attract people and improve the economic growth of the city.
Well, but that's the cow's already out of the barn on that deal. And this situation is so frustrating. The aldermen have signed off on it. The mayor signed off on it. The work is being done. And one person says, well, wait a minute, not so fast. So do we have a city government where one person can just arbitrarily decide that she doesn't want to pay these or, sign off on these bonds? That goes to the credibility of the city going forward in any type of financial transaction.
Absolutely, and that's part of what the lawsuit's going to determine, right? That does she have the authority when she sees the city's bond ratings decrease, downgraded twice, whether she has the authority to say, we can't do this. So, of course, the Blues ownership is saying, no, this is really a ministerial job. She just needs to sign off because it's already been approved.
Right, it's already been approved. It's already been signed up. They're already working on the Scottrade Center.
Well, it does lead one to sort of ask the question, was all of this a foregone conclusion if they were already working on it, or is it a case of where they would have done it anyway, even if the city had said no?
Right. Well, the interesting thing is I get your arguments where you have a company moving from point A to point B, but the Scottrade Center is a little bit different because you don't necessarily, I hate to say it, a public-private partnership or some type of something, because you can't, you're not putting somebody else out of business to redo the Scottrade Center.
Okay, so McGraw, let's just talk about businesses and commitments. The Blues have Scottrade for $1 a year.
Okay.
The lease itself says basically it's just a bare legal title lease. The city doesn't collect any property tax on, so basically they've got a tenant who pays them $1 a year for 50 years with the option to renew for 20 years, and that tenant doesn't have to do anything else other than, and again, I'm not going to speak as a lawyer to this because I haven't pored over the lease, but there's language there about the fact that if there are renovations or improvements, that's on the tenant.
Right.
And so why is it, if that's on the tenant, that the city's now stepping up, basically help pay for those things? And we're not talking about the bones of the building. We're not talking about, the foundation, the internal pipes. We're talking about things like scoreboards,
ribbons and locker rooms, and no. You got a straight up point. But you know what? I want to see Ed Sheeran in concert. I want to see Springsteen. I want to see this. I want to see that. And if there's not a venue that these people can play in, they're going to skip St. Louis. And so there's a quality of life issue there as well.
Well, I think that, people can definitely make the argument that from a standpoint of civic pride, this is something we want to invest in. But I would argue, McGraw, that maybe we should let the market work. It seems to me that there are other venues available. If there is a market for that where people want their entertainment dollars to go to bring in big acts, they're going to spend their entertainment dollars for those purposes.
It will be interesting to see how all this works out. All right, we can read more in the Show Me Institute?
ShowMeInstitute.org.
ShowMeInstitute.org. Also, we should say, one of the people who's suing or being sued, Alderwoman Kara Spencer. She's going to be on the show tomorrow.
Oh, great! I'll listen.
We got more. Wednesday. I'm sorry. She's going to be on Wednesday. How's your husband doing?
He's doing well.
All right, good. You guys going to watch the eclipse together? Two lovebirds have a little eclipse party?
No, I'm afraid not. My husband's response was that he could watch it on the internet.
There you go. He can watch it on the inner Googles. Brenda Talent, CEO of the Show Me Institute. Have a good day. Thanks.
You